What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Assist Living Investing. I am joined with my beautiful wife and business partner, Laura. Thank you for being here with us.
Excited about the conversation.
All right, so today we're talking about building your team. And specifically, we're talking about your leadership team. How do you grow and develop a rock star team that ultimately gets you time freedom, that helps you grow your business, stay in really the visionary or owner seat, and focus on growth and or focus on like just spending time with your family. All right, so that has been our journey as we have fumbled through this the last few years and really got to a place where we work very little, right? 2 to 4 hours a week in our business. We are just about to open the first 2 mansions that we just built and bring in our grandmas there. So we are getting back into the fire here, right? And really there are easy times in business and there are hard times, but you have to grow yourself in order to get to those easy times. So the most important part of this is your team. So I wanted to pick up with you today talking about how did you develop your ladies, your managers. We've gone through recently, promoted another 3 managers and have gone through training with them. How are you pouring into the team and what does that look like?
So I first wanted to say thanks for having me on, that I'm not perfect at this. And I think that I had an unrealistic expectation of myself coming into this, thinking that I had to be this like perfect leader, that they made all the right decisions. And, then in turn, my team would make all the right decisions. And I think that I'm not perfect in this because I'm continually become better myself as an individual. And so I think that's really the key, is to continue to grow yourself, grow your mindset, and grow your skills. And I think that in turn will make your team below you rise up to the level that you are. And so I think if you are not growing yourself, you're not maybe listening to podcasts, going to conferences, surrounding yourself with other people who have that growth mindset, I think that you won't grow and you'll become stagnant. It's like if you're not growing, you're dying. And so I think that if you really have that approach to growth, that you are setting that standard for your team and they will rise to that standard. And so in essence, it's kind of putting a lot of pressure on you as the owner, to be honest, because you are the one that really sets that for your team. And so if you're not necessarily that person, I guess the question back to you is why not? Like, why are you not pursuing the best version of yourself? Why are you not, growing in your skills and in your mindset? I think that that's something that as a business owner is really, really important, because to get through those hard times in business, you really have to have that resiliency. You have to have that grit. You have to have that mindset of like, hey, like this sucks right now, but it's okay. I'm going to make it at the end of the day. And so I think when you grow yourself, you will have the tenacity to get through that. And so I guess going back to your question, I think you yourself, growing yourself and growing your mindset will then in turn really push your managers or your team up to the level that you are.
So I think this is kind of an interesting point. I appreciate you starting really with the owner in mind. I hear a lot of people say things like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go and hire my manager, right? Like I know nothing about this industry, but I can build this mansion. I can buy this mansion. I can do whatever it is. And I'm just going to hire this manager and I'm going to hire someone with experience. And you know what? I think we both agree on this. Like that's just a cop-out. Like that is fake. That is pretend. You are setting yourself up for failure. Mm-hmm. The success of your business is based on you, right? Like you are your business. And if you're not wholeheartedly pouring this into this, then no one is, right? Your managers, they may be the best managers, but it's not their business. Unless you're giving them, equity or ownership in the company, right? Like they're not going to pour in it the way that you are. So you need to set that example and set that standard, because they will only rise up to as high of a standard as you can commit to yourself.
I think there are a lot of individuals that we have actually spoken to that really want to start their own assisted living mansion. And I think that we've talked to them and kind of know right away that, oh man, I don't think their heart is really into this. Like, I think that they're just looking at this as just a cash cow. They're looking at it as, oh, look how much cash flow I have each month. And I think what sets Brett and I apart, and a lot of other individuals as well, is having the heart behind it. I think there are so many times that I can actually get emotional about talking about what we do because we're making such a difference in people's lives, not just the people that live within Platinum or the families or the staff, right? There's so many people that we're impacting our community as well. So I think that I see the gravity, like the depth of what we do is so like pivotal and is so important to me. And so I think that because we have that heart toward it, I think that like drips down to our management, right? And then that will drip down to the care team, and that can even drip down to like our maintenance individual, right? Like it impacts everybody. And so having that heart and passion and drive behind what you do, I think is also super, super important.
So the way you talk about it, you can see your passion for it, and you can really see really the vision, right? And that's kind of what I wanted to unpack with you is, as the owner, part of your job is casting that vision and really just selling it to your staff and your team and really pulling them along with, here is what we're doing. And you can hear you talk about it, right? Like, we're legitimately making a difference. We are helping lots of different people. We are making great money, but you know what? Like, there are plenty of assisted livings that are losing money. There's plenty in our market here, which is saturated with opportunity, of plenty of places losing money because it starts at the top, right? Big corporate, right? They don't have the heart. They don't have the passion for this. They are leading very poorly. So it's not just about, hey, can I have the great building? Can I be in the right location? This is not just a math question. This is starting with you. It is your character. It is really your business and your baby. So can you share, I guess, some of what you do to share the vision to our team and how you can kind of pull them along and get excited about really what we do?
Yeah, I think it first started with our first house, our first mansion that we have here in Georgetown. And it wasn't necessarily like, we didn't really have like the growth in mind. We weren't thinking we were going to build multiple of these at the time. It was just one, right? And so I think it's harder when you have such a kind of a smaller business, but I think you still can cast that vision in sharing that the difference that you're making in people's lives just with the care that our grandparents are receiving. People get excited about that because people know how horrible it is in the big boxes. They know how horrible it is in the place down the street. And so when they come into Platinum, they're like, oh my gosh, this home is beautiful. It doesn't smell horrible. Like, it smells like fresh food. Everyone has smiles. Everyone looks clean. There's no depression, and there's not dark. I think that it's so different just as it is, even in one location, that we were able to really, I think, draw in people who were attracted to that and who wanted to work in that environment. So I think we were casting that vision not only through our beautiful building and through our care, but also just by how we talk about it. I think that people can see that there's heart and drive and passion behind what we do. Now with our expansion, I think that there's the vision is so much bigger now that I think that our team really sees that. And so when we first told them that we purchased this 8 acres of land and it's, 8 minutes away from our current location, and we're going to be building these assisted living mansions, and like they're going to be 10,000 square feet. They're going to be 17 bathrooms, 16 bedrooms, each with their own, full-size ADA bathroom. There's going to be a beautiful salon and a chef, like all these things, right? And you like paint that picture in their mind and they're like, oh my gosh, it sounds so amazing. Like, I want to be a part of that. And so that was kind of, I'd say in essence, kind of easy. And I shouldn't say easy because it's never easy, but painting that picture in their mind, it makes them want to jump on the roller coaster with you, right? Like, they're like, that sounds amazing and fun. Like, I want to be a part of that. And to be honest, I just got goosebumps because like, it's really cool when you have such a big vision for your business that other people are excited for you and excited for themselves because they have the growth opportunity that they can pursue as well. And so with the expansion, I think that the vision has been casted so much wider that we're able to really get so many more people excited. Even our caregivers, like current caregivers, are excited. They can see the potential of them maybe moving up to management because we have more opportunity. And so that's pretty much what we did, starting small and then being to where we currently are.
Yeah. So casting the vision is super important. I would say also setting the standard, right? Like, the standard that the ownership team sets is as high as your managers, your chef, your caregivers will lead up to. Mm-hmm. So how do you really go and kind of train on what that standard is, and then hold accountability, maintain for our managers, and then, you know, indirectly to our staff below them on what the platinum standard is like.
I think that kind of really goes back to what we already talked about with like you. I think you as the owner are the standard, right? Like you hold that standard. And I think that everyone wants to get up to that standard, right? Like your care staff, your platinum angels, everyone isn't going to start there, right? They're going to be, and I don't want to say below you because that sounds bad, but like their standard is a little bit lower than yours as the business owner. And so I think that they have to see it within you by your daily interactions with them. So for instance, when I go into platinum, I always make sure that I talk to everybody, that I'm saying hi to all the grandmas, that I'm talking to any family members that's there, that I say hi to every platinum angel that's working, ask them how they're doing, look them in the eye. Some of them I'll give a hug. It depends on who they are. You know, talk to the chef, how the kids doing. Hey, it's summer. Are they involved in any camps? Like just making sure that you're present with them, I think is really important. If there's trash on the ground, I'll pick up the trash. If maybe like maybe they just had lunch and the floor has a little bit of food on it, like I'll be like, hey, do you guys need help sweeping the floor? And they'll always say no. And sometimes I'll just do it anyways. I do that purposely because I want them to know that like, just because I'm the owner doesn't mean that I can't help them with their daily tasks, even if they think it's menial, like taking someone to the restroom. I can still toilet somebody and take some of them to the restroom. Like just because I'm the owner doesn't mean I'm not going to do that. And so I think because they see me do those things, they're more willing and happy to do those things on their own because they know that like, oh, the owner's in here. Like she's talking to everybody. She's, you know, saying hi to me. She's asking me about my kids and she can pick up the trash too. Oh, look, she's taking the trash out. Look, she just pulled the trash can out to the street. Like doing these little things that may seem small to you or you may seem, you might come across as being above that. And I would really not condone that. And so I think they see me and then that sets the standard in their mind. That's like, oh, wow, like she's doing that. Okay, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to do this. And so I think, again, what we just talked about, the standard is you. And I think you really have to really display that and be the example for them. And so, again, if you say to yourself, well, man, like, I don't really have the highest standards, like, then I would, again, confront you and say, why not? Like, you're the one that they are following. And so I think it's important that you really step up your game and really increase your skills and knowledge and abilities so that you can help them as well. Like you're right. You're turning back and you're helping them get up to the level that you're at. You're pulling them up. You're encouraging them. So that's really important.
So I think this paints a great picture for at least the people who've been into platinum and seen what we do. I would say there's really three things that come off the top of my head that platinum is known for in this Georgetown area. One, it's the most beautiful. Our home is gorgeous. Our new mansions are incredible. It's by far, out of everything that I've seen around, the most beautiful. And again, that goes back to who you are and your standard, right? Like the standard that is acceptable for what we will have as our business is incredibly high for you, and myself included, right? And so it goes back to that. Like, I'm only going to build to this level of standard. I will not do these other things, right? There's plenty of deals we've looked at, like, no, like that is not a platinum standard. We will not buy that building. We will not buy that company. Like that is inferior to our standard, right? The physical building, the care, right? And this literally goes to, okay, you're there and you're showing, here's the care, right? Like genuinely, I'm going to every single resident and family and spending time with them and holding their hand and asking how they're doing, right? That is the care that we are setting the standard for and that platinum is known for, the best care in our area, right? You are showing that to the staff. And then we have some of the best staff out of everyone around, right? And it goes back to the next point of you are there taking care of your people, right? Encouraging, asking about them, taking them on special, gifts or trips or parties or things like that, right? Like you've poured so much into our managers specifically, but then also the staff. And so if you're thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? Like I want my business to be stellar in certain areas. Well, you know what? What areas are you stellar in? Because honestly, it is exactly the same, right? Like if you're going to be A+ in this thing, then you're going to hold that standard and that's what your business will be. Because when you walk in and you were don't see that, you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like when I walk in and I see caregivers with their shirt untucked, I'm like, what the hell? Like that is not my standard, right? Like I need to go talk to them, or somebody needs to go talk to them about these kind of things. The littlest details, right? Like are super important to what we are, because we are a high-end luxury assisted living that takes amazing care of people, right? And I just, it irks me. Like I have a hard time letting those little things go because that's not our standard.
And I think because we have that standard, that gets out into the community, and then you are going to then attract that standard, and then you're going to unattract that people who are not up to that standard. And so I think that's super important, that is something that is very strong within your culture and within your company, so that you can attract those amazing caregivers, those people with heart, those people with compassion, and then you can shun away the people who are not that, because they are not up to the standard and do not fit in the culture within your home. So that's very important that that's strong within your business.
Yeah. Okay, so starting with yourself, most important. What about your managers? Whether you are promoting a new manager like we've done multiple times, whether we are hiring someone from experience, what do you think are the most important things that you want to train, equip, pour into on your management team in order to have them hit the standard that you are setting?
I think there's a lot of different things that I could say, but I think there's probably, I'd say 3 that come to mind. The first one would be communication. I think that there are a lot of people that have a really great heart, and they're really compassionate, and they're great caregivers. They love people, right? But a lot of times they're not the best at communicating, looking people in the eye, maybe being stern when they have to be, being kind and caring when they need to be. So I think that communication is so vital in this, because you're not only communicating to your team, you're communicating to the grandparents in your home, you're communicating to their family members, you're communicating to all of the outside services. So, the hospice companies, the home health, the doctors, you're communicating to the community, right? Like random people will be coming at your door who are neighbors. They'd be like, hey, can I, take a tour? You're communicating to so many different people. And I think that you have to have that as a skill, and that can be developed. And I think it does get developed over time. You don't have to be perfect at this when you first start. I think that, again, they're going to see you communicate with those individuals, and they're going to follow your lead. And so, again, you're the standard, right? It all comes back to that. So communication, I think, is vital. The second thing would be, and this is important to Brett, this is why I'm throwing this in there, sales and marketing. I think they need to know, again, I think that kind of wraps up into communication, but they need to know how to tour people. They need to know how to answer the phone appropriately. They need to know how to sell a room, right? Like they need to know how to answer those questions that the families are going to have. And so I think being able to have those, I don't want to say sales tracks, but it's kind of like the word tracks, right? I think it's important for you to equip your managers with those sales tracks, so that they have those in their tool belt, right? I think it's important to provide them with tools in their tool belt, so they're equipped for the certain questions they're going to get answered, certain questions they're going to get asked. And so I think that sales and marketing is really, really important. A lot of times we'll help with the marketing side of things, but they are doing most of the sales. They're answering all the phone calls. They're doing all the tours. And so I take part a lot of the marketing, like doing a lot of the ads and stuff like that in the back end. So we help with them in that realm at least. But so communication one, sales and marketing. And then I know I mentioned this to Brett because we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but I would say confidence. And I know this may sound a little different to you, but I think that if you're promoting somebody within your company and maybe they're a caregiver and you're promoting them as a manager, I think that their confidence isn't going to be there in the start, right? Because they haven't done the things that a manager has done in the past, right? They don't know how to do those things. They don't have those skills, and they don't have that knowledge within what a manager, role really entails. And so I think allowing them to make decisions and fail, I think is really important. And I say confidence because I do think that you get confidence by doing things you haven't done before. And if you fail, you still get back up and do it again. And then you realize you can do it. And then at that point, you get confidence in that. And so there's certain things like when the state comes in to survey and you've never done it before and you're a manager and they're asking you all these things, right? You don't have confidence in it because you've never done it before. But now that our managers have had, a couple state surveys come in and they know exactly what to do and they know exactly what they're going to ask, they have confidence now knowing, okay, like, oh, the state surveyors came in, cool. Like, here, set them down here, give them a cup of coffee. Like, they're going to be here all day. Like, we got everything they need. So there's confidence there. And so I think it comes with time. But I think that you as the owner, allowing them to make decisions maybe that aren't the best and they fail, that you still can encourage them and be like, hey, maybe that wasn't the best decision. Maybe we can go about it this way next time. Giving them that confidence, like, it's okay. You're going to make mistakes. It's all going to work out at the end of the day. I always tell my managers this. And so I think, again, allowing them the space to fail so they can learn from that is super, super important.
So lots of great stuff there. I wanted to kind of unpack it a bit more. And I would say from a practical standpoint, right, if you are promoting someone, if you're brand new and you're hiring a manager, what is your biggest pain point, right? Is it the sales and marketing? Do you need to fill the beds? Is it the way your staff is training or family issues with communication or things like that, right? Like, address your first pain point there. And then really, like, just kind of strategically, one step at a time, build and train on these things. And so I wanted to give people some practical information of, okay, we've gone through this multiple times with multiple sets of managers. How do you go about, like, granularly, practically, like, how do you equip them on these things that you think are important?
So initially, when we brought on our two managers, when we pretty much promoted them from caregivers to managers, Brett and I, we created, I guess you say, like a training manual, I would say, for the managers. And so I think equipping them not only with the example that you give, but also with like a playbook, right? It's almost like providing them a playbook of exactly what they're going to need to know within this role, I think is really important. And that can seem kind of daunting in the beginning because it's a lot of information that they need to know. But I think it's breaking it down into small sections, right? So Brett and I did this. We sat down and we broke down the whole role into small sections and then broke those small sections into small sections and kind of just like unpacked it for them. And then each week we would meet with them and really just go through every little section and educate them on it. I mean, as far as like sales and touring, we did a lot of like mock tours with them and they hated it and they thought it was the worst thing in the world. And I get that. I wouldn't want, my bosses to be like doing a mock tour with me. That's very, very stressful. But I think it was necessary to get them uncomfortable and for them to stumble and fail with us instead of stumbling and failing, with the potential family that could move in. And so I think doing those different exercises and really giving them a playbook in the beginning was really important for them. And having, I think, us walk them through it was vital as well too, because they could then ask questions about, hey, I don't get this, I don't understand this. And then we as the owners could then put the standard in the answer and let them know that, hey, this is how we're expecting it. And if you need any help with anything, let us know. So I think it's also letting them know that we are always there for them. We are a support system for them. I literally, even this morning, we had our meeting and I had to reaffirm to them, like, hey, like, you're not bothering me if you call me and ask a question. You're not bothering me if you send me an email. Like, I'm here to help. We're a team. We're in this together. And so I think those were kind of practical things that we did in the beginning to really develop them.
Yeah. And so we did this and we spent a lot of time going through this and building out these frameworks of our operations training. And so I would say this, so coming back to the first point, right? If you as the owner don't know this stuff, that is part of your job. This is why we started this podcast talking about, like, the biggest priority is growing yourself, investing in yourself so that you can equip. You might hire this amazing manager that has all this experience and it's great. That's probably La La Land in a fairy tale, right? Most of them are nuts. But it'll probably be great for about 6 months and then, like, nothing works out forever. And then you have to fire this person or they quit or they walk out on you, right? Like, it's notorious in this industry. People, especially from big box corporate, they will job jump every 6 months and you'll be great and happy for 3-4 months. And you'll think like, oh my gosh, I have my time freedom and I'm going to go and spend all this time with my kids. And then boom, like, you did not take the opportunity to learn all of these systems. and then you're like thrown into the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it is super important. So as we are teaching our managers, that really meant before these meetings that we had, Laura and I went through and built out these systems and created these, all these policies and procedures and all the training stuff, right? Like for touring, I spent so much time building out a training module for touring, right? And now we teach this on the YouTube channel there. But before that, right, there was almost nothing. And if you're having a problem in a specific part of your business, and perhaps that part of it is I can't make sales and my beds cannot stay full, then you know what? You need to jump in. Everything falls back to you as the owner. Don't think that somebody else is going to care as much as you do. They're not going to have as high of a standard for these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that was a lot of what we did. Laura also went through and put some of our managers through a leadership training,
Mm-hmm.
right? Can you talk about that and what was the focus of the leadership training?
Yeah, so I'm very involved in our community. And so I was talking to someone at like a gala about, my managers and how great they are, but I really wanted to put them through a leadership training because there's only so much that I feel like I could really give to them. I feel like there was maybe some things that I wasn't really good at, and I really wanted that to develop them in those areas. And so she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Like my husband, he's looking for an opportunity like this. He works for this big company. We all know the name of it, and he does a lot of leadership training within that company." And I was like, "Wow, I had no idea. Okay, great. Well, let's set this up." So he was amazing. He did about a year training with them, where he met with them weekly, every week. And he did a lot of just like personal development, leadership training within them. The first 6 months, I'd say, was more personal development. And then once that was built, he did more leadership training. And it was more like he would challenge them to quote unquote homework to get done, and then come back that next week, and then they can discuss it. And so they got really uncomfortable. There were a lot of times they actually kind of complained about it, like, "Oh man, I can't believe he's asked me to do this, and I can't believe doing this." And they did it. I know they were saying that because they were nervous about it. It was getting them uncomfortable. And I really like that because I think that's really where you grow, is when you're uncomfortable. If you're comfortable all the time, you're not going to grow. And so that was something that I think was really vital for their growth and development. I know there are a lot of online leadership classes that you can put your managers through, or any of your staff through. But I think this was different because this person was local to us, a leader in the community, and really was giving their time to really develop our managers. And I'm very grateful for that. So I think if to learn anything from this is to continue talking about what you're doing within your business with other people in the community, because you never know what kind of connections you can make that can be kind of a mutually beneficial thing for both of you.
Yeah. So it's not an easy position for managers. Actually, I think it's a really understatement. It's a really difficult position, honestly, because it's very highs and lows, ups and downs, right? Things are chill and great and smooth, and then literally people die. Or you'll have like caregivers that just no call, no show on a night shift. And if you can't cover it, right, like it's the expectation. Our managers are going to be there. They're going to get these things covered. And so there is a lot of smoothness, and then these like really rough patches where we have to kind of just bail water out of the boat and then plug the hole and just rebuild and keep going, right? And so a lot of what we focus on is building grit into our team. And honestly, I think that's really, really important for specifically this industry, because it's a 24/7 business and there's a lot of volatility. So can you talk about, really how you're building and encouraging and really just cultivating, like, how do you get through the hard times? Because they're going to come kind of seasonally in this industry.
I think, again, it goes back to you. And I hate to say that. I know we keep saying that over and over again, but I think we're really drilling it home. I think that if you personally don't know how to really navigate those waters of like really stormy waters, but then you also can navigate calm waters, then I think you won't be able to help your managers when they do hit those stormy waters. And so Brett and I have been through some troubling times within business. And so I think that we have that emotional regulation that I think just comes with time, and it comes with trials. And so a lot of times your managers probably haven't gone through some really difficult times like they will in the management position. And so I think you, as the owner, being able to be kind of I don't want to say a rock, but kind of a rock for them during that, and letting them know that you are there to help them through that, I think is really important, because you don't want them to weather the storm alone. You don't want them to go through it and feel like they can't talk to you about it because maybe you're going to get upset that they're upset, type of thing. There have been many times where I've had to, go in and, really encourage and console, someone on my team. And that was something that I didn't do like, "Ugh, I have to go in and I have to, console this person." Like, I didn't have that mentality toward it, because I think that we've all been through that before. We've all had those hard, trying times within a certain position. And it's always really like a breath of fresh air to have somebody come alongside of you and really walk you through that. And so I think that that's something that I really, I wouldn't say I enjoy, but I do enjoy it. Actually, I really do. I do enjoy being able to come alongside people and seeing that they're having a hard time, and in essence, kind of talking them off the ledge, because a lot of times they're just like so overtaken by the overwhelmingness of the position that it's difficult, because you're not only dealing with this, they also have, family and personal things they're dealing with as well. And so I think you have to be understanding of that. You can't just expect them to like drop everything all the time and like have a good attitude about it. Like, there are gonna be times where they have to come in and maybe they're missing at their anniversary dinner, or they're doing something that's happening that night, and they're gonna be upset about it. And so I think giving them the freedom to discuss that with you and talk about it with you is really important. And so again, I think because we've weathered storms, I can talk them through how I got through that. I can explain to them like, hey, like, this is just a small little season. Like, I know that we're in this really, really hard time right now, but it's probably just a 2 or 3 month like dark time, right? Like, spring is coming. Like, it's okay. We have, all these people coming on board. We got some really amazing individuals that we just hired or something, and just encouraging them and showing the positive side of things. Cause I think us as humans, we have the tendency to focus on the negative. And I think that that's also something you need to train within them is yes, there's something negative happening right now, but look at all the positive things. Look at all of the great things that are going on right now. Look at all the staff that did show up to their shifts. Look at all the grandparents that we're helping. Look at all the families that are happy. So I think it's also just shifting their mindset and their perspective to not just focus on that one negative thing, right? It's like we always focus on the one bad review out of like 99, right? Like, why do we always focus on the one negative thing? It's always just a negative or just a tendency that we as humans do. So I think helping them with that too is really important. Something that we do that kind of really sets the standard at Platinum is our language. It's the way that we talk about things. So, and I think this is a lot to do with sales as well. We say different words when we describe things. So we don't say patients, we say grandparents. We don't say caregivers, we say platinum angels. We don't say facility, we say either home or mansion. And so I think, words carry weight. And I think that a lot of times we're flippant with words. Like, we just like say them like it's nothing because everybody else says them, right? Like, oh, we say caregiver because everybody else says that and people understand what it is. It's like, well, I don't care. Like, they're platinum angels because they work at Platinum and they literally are angels sent from heaven to really be the hands and feet of Jesus. And that is really why we say platinum angels, because that's really who they are to us. And so I think having that different language not only creates that culture within your home, but I think it's a real good sales piece for you too, because it's captivating to people. When you do a tour and you say like, oh, look, here's our platinum angel, Brett. And they're like, platinum angel? Like, oh, I've never heard someone called a platinum angel, and it piques their interest. Or if someone comes in and says, oh, you have a beautiful facility, my response is, we don't say the F word in my house. It's a home. And they're like, oh, sometimes they're like, oh, okay, my bad. Oh, wow. They don't call it a facility. It's memorable. People remember those things. And so we do it because that's just who we are. Like, we just don't want to use the words that everyone else uses. But it also creates the culture. It creates like I think that people are excited to be a platinum angel. Like, I want to be a platinum angel. Like, they're excited. It says that on their name tag. And so it creates that culture, but it also piques interest within the community, piques interest within people who are interested in your home. And so I wanted to add that because I think that has a lot to do with really rising above and being that standard within that industry.
That's fantastic. And it does. It helps us stand out. And you have a gorgeous building. You have the best care in your area, and you will have no issue building a massive wait list and no issue, therefore, having the best staff and having the best reputation. So for those of you that are interested in getting into this game, assisted living, it is challenging, it is difficult, it is financially rewarding, it has provided time freedom for us, and it's awesome because we literally help so many people. So if that is something that interests you, I would encourage you to dive all in. Watch the channel, hit our website, Assisted Living Mansion, for a bunch of free courses and training, and I'll see you on the next one.